Today we're going to show you how to properly clean your pet's water fountain. So to start your water bowl cleaning process, you're going to need a couple of tools. And the first thing is a sponge that you only dedicate to the use of cleaning your pet's bowls. You'll need a little bottle brush type cleaner, probably something to pry the little parts apart, and an old toothbrush. You'll also need some baking soda and white vinegar, and then your faucet. So the first thing you want to do is be sure that you keep the end of the plug that goes into the electrical part of the mechanism out of the water. Take your whole fountain apart, and you're going to notice that there's some gross grime and slime. We clean our pets' bowls every 2 weeks, sometimes more frequently if they've been really dirty, but every 2 weeks is how often we clean our pets' fountains. So this is where the filter would normally go. We don't put a filter in ours because all that filter does is harbor more bacteria. So personally, I don't like to do that. I don't want to change a filter out all the time, but you can just see from the gunk for 2 weeks worth of growth that the biofilm that collects in your filter cavity is something that really you need to be mindful of and keep that thing clean. That's why we don't use the filter that goes in there. Next is the pump. You're going to take the whole pump apart. This part comes off. This little spinny cover part comes off. The spinny mechanism itself for the pump, the part that spins around, it's magnetic, which is why you need something to pry it up with. There's the little motor spinny part, and then you've got the motor itself. So we'll start with cleaning the small parts first. I always put some white vinegar in the bowl along with some baking soda and let that start doing its job, and then we can start cleaning all of our parts with the foamy water vinegar mix. The reason we use vinegar and baking soda is because it's non-toxic, it's not a soap, and it's not going to stay living and breathing on the bowl. And it doesn't hurt, it's not harmful to your pets, either your dog or your cat. We have one of these fountains for our dogs, and we have one of our fountains for our cat, and both of them get equally gross after 2 weeks of just the biofilm from their mouths. So we want to make sure that we keep that super clean, and like I said, we clean their fountains every 2 weeks. So today is Mama Kitty's fountain, and all you do is just scrub everything really well with the vinegar and baking soda solution. Get all the biofilm off. Use your little spinny brush and clean that part. I always do this part first because I don't want my little pieces to go down the sink and become a problem for the plumber. So you clean everything really well. Don't use too hot of water because it burns your fingers. This is really gross. This thing gets so gross with just that yellow accumulation is biofilm. And that's what causes dental decay in pets' mouths. And that's why you need to clean your bowls every day. And you clean your water fountains minimum every 2 weeks. If you had a lot of time on your hands, you could do it weekly, but that biofilm collects on your pet's bowls and then it settles in your pet's mouth, and that is the #1 cause of dental disease in pets. So it's super important that you keep all of their bowls sanitary and clean. Just make sure you get all of that gunk and accumulation off of all the parts of the fountain. Another reason why we use stainless steel fountains versus plastic or ceramic is because it's non-porous. So our personal preference for our pets' fountains is a non-porous material, which is stainless. This is a super important part that people forget all the time, is where that neck goes. And that was where a lot of funky stuff accumulates. So you gotta be sure you clean that thoroughly with your little old toothbrush. And then the bowl is the finale. Make sure that you wash the entire bowl, scrub all the sediment, all the gunk out of there. Be sure that you clean the neck really well. Rinse it thoroughly. And then you're ready to refill. We're gonna put it back together. Oh, hold on. I forgot the most important part, the motor. The motor is important. We should clean that. This is magic, and you have to clean inside where that spinny thing goes for the motor part, because the biofilm collects in there really easily. And if you don't clean that out and you put your fountain back together, and the first thing that happens is it starts spitting out gross black stuff and nasty colored water, you know that you did not clean your pump properly. So it's really important that you get a brush like this and you clean that thoroughly. Clean all the parts of the motor under the little rubber feet. Next, you're gonna put everything back together. So we're gonna put the spinny thing back in first. Easy breezy, the cover. Click that back down in there. This cover, the filter part, put that back. Fill it back up with water. And in a perfect world, plug it back in. And it should start right up. And it doesn't. Sometimes it needs to be kicked. There you go. Sometimes it needs a little jump start. Voila, fresh water. If you found value in the information I shared with you today, please like and subscribe.